Hello, welcome back to another Why a Comic Book So Addictive. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time. Occasionally, I get comments and questions from viewers that ask if I still buy comic books off the rack. And because comic books are so addictive, I still go to the comic book store once a month and browse around, but I do buy a few books here and there just to give it a shot, but often after one or two issues, I just don't like it enough to keep buying. For example, I tried out Five Ghosts a few months ago, and after 2 months, I decided that I can wait until the trades come out or buy them for cheap. Often many modern books a year later you can buy them for 50 cents or a dollar on eBay. So that's how I get my fix of modern books once in a while if I have the urge to buy them and read them. So yes, they are addictive, and I can't say that I have go cold turkey on new books, but there are one books that I have anticipated for quite some time, and I did get this book as soon as it came out. As many of you already know, I'm a big fan of Walt Simonson. There's not that many authors that I still buy, even though I love them. Neil Adams, for example. I love Neil Adams, but the last thing that he did for DC, the Batman series, I did buy the first two issues, and I just didn't really like the story. The art is beautiful, but it was just not compelling enough for me to keep buying. So I wait until it's all over and buy the rest of the books for cheap. But Walt Simonson is one that I would give a shot every time I put out something new. So when this book came out, gorgeous. I'm not a big fan of buying variant covers, but when I saw this cover, as you can see, gorgeous, gorgeous. He has the San Diego Comic Con variant, which is the red one, as you can see right here. If I was in San Diego, I probably would stay in line to get this one as well as his signature. I would, but I got this one, and the art inside is beautiful. Okay, there's nothing to complain about the art inside, but here is my general complaint about modern comic books in general, not just this one, is that I read a lot of Silver Age, Bronze Age, and then moderns, and maybe it's just me, but I found that the majority of the modern book story are just too drawn out, in that I feel in the Silver Age I felt too many stories are rushed. Get the opposite, because many stories in the Silver Age are one shot story, so you have the entire story crammed into 20 pages or so. And I always, often when I read a Silver Age book, while I enjoy it, I wish there was multiple issues, because there are so much more that could have expanded. Okay, but that's the way things was done in the 60s, and I understand the reasoning. They want fans to be able to pick up the book and read it and not get lost. in the middle of a story. So that was the reasoning why Goodman, the head of Marvel, the owner of Marvel, really didn't like multiple long story arcs, because he felt that the reader would be confused and don't know what the heck's going on when they pick up a book. The opposite is troubling me now with modern books, because very often you don't have one shot story. You have long stories, and often, like this book, okay, it's a gorgeous drawn book, but I feel that the story was so too short. It's not enough going on in this book, so if I review this book, I would say great art, but the story was mildly interesting to get me to buy the next issue. Certainly, I hope there was a lot more to it, but maybe I'm just not in the same mindset as today's readers, because I know a lot of people love the story or enjoyed this book and the story more than I have from seeing many of the reviews online. I just feel that, I give the story like an average rating, because it's just not enough meat in the story to get me excited. I definitely will try to pick up the next issues to see where it's going, and depend on what happened the next issue, then I might just stop buying it off the rack and wait for the series to be complete and then buy the rest for cheap. But that's how I tend to approach buying new books. I buy 1 or 2 issues, and often I hope that the story is engaging enough for me to keep buying off the rack, instead of waiting for it to be cheaper later. So for now, I'm a little bit worried that this story is doing the same thing to me, as far as not getting me too excited about the storyline, because it's just not enough there. Okay. And because of the way I enjoy comic books, often I go back to my collections of a few thousand books that I still have, and enjoy them my way. I don't need to buy books on a daily, weekly basis to enjoy comic books. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is trying to compile a list of fan pages that was contributed by people that worked in the field later. In one of my other videos, where I mentioned in Fantastic Four 48 through 50, there were fan letters from Dave Cockrum and another writer. The name escaped my mind right now, but so I've been trying to do that, and it's not easy. I don't have every Silver Age book, but in front of me here is Adventure 51. Okay, awesome Bashima cover. Okay, this one here this book is gorgeous. This book has like no flaws anywhere else. Sadly, you see right here, there's a big crease and in this corner. But other than that, the rest of the book are beautiful. Damn shame. Inside you have awesome Basima art. But the reason why I brought out this book is the fan page by Doug Wench. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the Doug Wench that many people know, because he did live in Chicago, unless there are another documents there. If I was able to meet Mr. Mensch in person at a convention, I would bring this book and say, is this you? Is this your letter? But there you go. So there's another one. And for those that don't know who Doc Mensch is, he's a pretty prolific writer of the Bronze Age. The man that brought you Deathlock, co-creator of Deathlock, as well as co-creator of Moon Knight. Okay, so he is no slouch, and he did a lot of work with the Deadly Hand of Kung Fu. So if you were a fan of Munch, you probably read a lot of his stuff in the Moon Knight series, even Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight. So there you go, another one of those fanboys that wrote in letters before they got their first job at Marvel. And to continue on that theme, I found another one in Avenger 29. Okay, here's my copy. This one has a very interesting letter. It's from, see, you can see it right there. It's Mike Friedrich. No relation to Gary Friedrich, but I have a feeling that this is the Mike Friedrich that ended up being a writer at DC. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's not confirmed, but I have a hunch based on the way he wrote this letter. And I don't know much about Mike Friedrich as far as his work, but he did work on some of the Spectre early books in the Silver Age, where Neil Adams got his first work. So he did work with Neil Adams right off the bat in 1967, late 67, early 68. He done other things. If you wiki his name, you see that he did many other DC, especially in, I think, Green Lantern series. He's not very prolific like Doc Wench is, but so Mike Friedrich letter is in this book. So slowly I'm compiling a list of books with fanboys letter that become employed in the field later. What's interesting about this letter is, often when you read letters, right, or see letters in these books, they are often positive. You rarely read negative things, but let me read you a little bit of the letter by Mike Friedrich. To quote a famous spinach eater, I have had all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. I have put up with some, let's see how I can pat myself on the back today type of letters column for quite a few months. But okay, and then they went on and criticized Marvel and Stan Lee. If we don't like your style or methods of writing, we decide that Marvel isn't worth buying, which put pressure on Marty Goodman's pocketbook, which leads to pressure you to change what we want or forget writing. We control you, and so we can tell you how to write. You better not forget it, Mike Friedrich. Pretty scathing fan letter to Stan from Mike Friedrich. Interesting read indeed, right? And that's it. This is just a quick short video on why comic books are so addictive, and For those that want to dig more about Doug Wench, for sure check out the Master of Kung Fu. I don't have many of those books anymore. One of the very few I have left is this giant size, king size. I used to be so obsessed with square bound books that I bought many of them without a care of what they are. This is the beautiful, tough black cover of Master of Kung Fu. And then here's another one that have Duck Wench on it. This is the beautiful giant size chiller. Okay, gorgeous book. It's hard for me for a long time to resist a square bound book that look pristine like this with perfect, like this one have like perfect centering and everything. What's neat about this copy, it also contained the very first work of Dave Gibbon, the artist that did The Watchmen. So if you're a fan of Dave Gibbon, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Gibbons, then you might want to check out this book because it contained his first work for Marvel. Might be even in all comic books. One other thing about this book is mainly Marvel horror is there's a lot of reprints of older horrors, but I love these horror books because often you see a lot of great art from people that you rarely see. And and I have to say, often many of the art that I see in these books are better off in black and white because I think it would make it look even better. But here's a story that have Dave Gibbon first drawing. There's a lot of wonderful. There's, like I said, I love flipping through these old books because often I run across many awesome drawings artists. For example, look at this. The amount of details. It's a shame because this format and the color kind of drown out the great black and white drawing, but just look at that. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm a big fan of both Marvel and DC horror, as you know. But anyhow, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Until next time.